What's going on there, Space Monkeys? Welcome to Political Fight Club. I'm Robert Durden, and in this episode, I'm going to be kind of breaking down this discussion that's happening in lefty circles right now, which is the path forward? Going green, or going third party somewhere, or trying to go through the Democratic Party in order to get the politicians we want in a position that we want to get things done. Now, this is happening not only because of the Justice Democrats' failures, but also, we've seen that Green Party is almost impossible to get on the map, even if you run somebody good like Jill Stein. Hitting the milestones of going third party is almost impossible, but also keeping the Justice Democrats clean and doing what we want them to do is also almost impossible. As Kshama Sawant said so eloquently, for progressives, the road through the Democratic Party leads to a graveyard. Now, I have some solutions, some actual battle strategies, and I'm going to put both of them in this video. And my answer to the question of whether or not we should do third party versus through the Democratic Party is both. We have to do both. And I have a way that we can both get the Green Party on ballots via one plan, which I call the spoiler initiative. And then there is also a way to make sure that the Justice Democrats do not sell out, which is a completely different plan that I've said both on the show in different episodes before, but I'm going to go over both of them because when I first went over them, it was when I first started the show, and I don't think a lot of people actually saw what those are. So let's start with just the Justice Democrats and with the path through the Democratic establishment. What happened with the Justice Democrats is they went in there and they weren't angry enough at the establishment. And so once they got a taste of money, a little bit of fame, notoriety, they realized that the cushiest and easiest existence for them was to tweet like they were fighting and virtue signal like crazy and maintain the facade that they're still pushing for the things that they ran on whilst doing absolutely nothing behind closed doors. How do we keep them from doing that in the future? How do we, in short, keep them from being sellouts? The answer is what I like to call Kamikaze campaigns. You have to change the vetting process for the Justice Democrats is step one to that. And one of the things I think you should do is make sure you have people that join the Justice Democrats who have been extremely downtrodden by the system and who literally are so angry at the system that they are uncorruptible, unbribable. But it goes beyond that. And the way that you get people to trust the Justice Democrats again is by doing what's called a kamikaze campaign. That means that while you're running for Congress, you make very specific promises as to what you're going to get done, and you're going to fight like hell to get done and show everyone you're fighting like hell to get done. And if you don't have it done by the time a certain date rolls around, you will resign. So if I were running for Congress, what I'd be telling everybody every time I got on one of these shows and had a second to spare to campaign for myself is I would say, listen, you're in the right to question whether or not a Justice Democrat's going to go in there and get things done for you because you've been burned in the past. I understand that. I want you to trust me, so here's the deal. If I don't have a Medicare for All floor vote as of 2024, I will resign. If I don't have this, and this done by the time in there, I will quit because I'm not effective enough to be to be your guys' congressperson. And if you tell people that over and over and over again and run what's called a kamikaze campaign, it takes the careerism out of it. It makes it so that everybody that sees what you're doing, that follows you and donates to you, knows that you're going in there with the intention of fucking everybody up that gets in your way and not making a career of it, especially if you are ineffective at it. The squad went in there, they decided they're going to make a career out of it, and they are ineffective at it, and you have to weed those people out. And if people have a guarantee from you multiple times in public as you're running that you will drop out 4 years after you get in there if you haven't gotten X, Y, or Z done, then they know they can trust you. Kamikaze campaign. And I would put people in there that basically put their own term limits in. They say, listen, I'm not going to do this for 20 years. I'm going to do this for, 4 years or beyond if I can get these things done that I'm telling you guys I'm going to try to get done. And beyond that, I don't think I'm going to do it more than 10 years, then I'm just going to stop. And people would trust you. And if they know you're not going in there to make a career of it, they can trust you even further. And then you don't have to worry about getting sucked into the status quo like all of the Justice Democrats have, because you know you're only going to be in there for a certain amount of years before you're just going to cut and run. Most people that want to go in there and sock everybody that gets in their way don't want to be in Congress for their whole life anyway. So that's the people that you need to vet for the Justice Democrats. People that are willing to go in and run a campaign like that. You run a kamikaze campaign through the Justice Democrats, make sure they install their own term limits and give you tangible things that they're going to get done in a certain amount of time, and people would vote for them, they would trust them again, and that's how you get the right people in there that aren't going to sell out like AOC and all the rest of those Justice Democrat Suicide Squad dimwits. Okay, how do we get the Greens on the ballot? Completely different play. And you guys know me. I got like a, sports playbook up in my mind of how we can get certain things done. That's just how I am. I'm solutions oriented. This one is even tougher to get done. I don't think there's any chance of it getting done, but it would work. You want to get the Greens on the ballot, you need to have 15% of the national, you have to be polling at 50% or higher in 5 national polls, which is the updated version. It used to be 3 national polls. If you want to make the debate stage, 15% from 5 national polls, and basically like the DNC and everybody, they kind of get to pick which polls count and which ones don't. Republican people that are high up in the Republican Party also get to kind of toss aside certain polls if a person that they don't like happens to be polling well in a poll like Tulsi Gabbard. They'll try to exclude her, which they did, from a debate because they just say that these polls don't count. So it depends on which polls you pick, and they're always going to be biased that way. But if you can get 15% in 5 national polls, the rule is you're supposed to be allowed in the debate stage. You also have to raise a certain amount of money in each state, and the state law is different in every single state. So that would be easy to get if you just do this play. It's impossible to get unless you do any other play, okay? And it takes one person running for the Green Party and one person running within the Democratic establishment. Both have to have similar ideologies and both have to be doing very well in the polls relatively. And let's say, because in my recent plans, I've always picked Jesse Ventura for the Green Party and Nina Turner within the Democratic Party. It could be other people other than that, but I think this would be the most likely to get the Green Party on the map. You have to start with running somebody with name recognition for the Green Party. Howie Hawkins was a terrible candidate. He was very good on the issues, but he doesn't have charisma. He didn't run a very strong campaign. He's just not built to be a presidential candidate. Jill Stein did much better. She's a doctor. She speaks very well. She's an activist. She did very well. She almost got 4% of the vote or something like that in 2016, and I voted for her. That's not going to be enough. But you know what we've seen recently that gives you a huge boost in the polls? If you're a celebrity. Jesse Ventura is a celebrity. He's an actor. He was also governor of Minnesota for a long time, so he has the political chops, and he does a good job on RT. He has his own show. I agree with him on probably 80% of the issues. I don't know where he stands on all the issues, but he's a good speaker. He knows what he's talking about. He's been in politics for a while, and he also has the built-in name value that will give him a huge boost in the polls. You run Jesse Ventura by himself, he probably breaks that 5% that Jill Stein was pushing on by himself, regardless of who you pick for VP. And then the second part has to be you run somebody within the Democratic Party who runs on election integrity. I've said since the inception of this show, both righties and lefties alike, very many people think that they've been cheated or that the elections have been rigged in this country. So I think it was Republicans, it's their second most important issue other than immigration laws is election integrity for Republicans. And I know that a lot of lefties also worry about that too because they've seen Bernie get fucked with for the last 2 primaries. So you run on election integrity as one of your top things. If I'm Nina Turner, I'm running on Medicare for All, election integrity. And what you do, you go in there knowing that they're going to cheat you. They are going to cheat you, and if you don't think so, you're naive. Bernie was cheated twice. Expect it. What you should do is set up some sort of team or some sort of system that catches them cheating like they did in the Iowa caucuses for Pete Buttigieg, catches them cheating like what Donna Brazile admitted that HRC was getting all of the debate questions beforehand, among other things that WikiLeaks showed us that the DNC was engaging in fuckery in. You catch them with their hand in the cookie jar, you shine the world's biggest spotlight on it, and then when they cheat you, say, I'm not running as a Democrat, these fuckers are cheating me, here's how they're doing it, you drop out and you run with Jesse Ventura as a Green candidate, and that should be the plan. You should never plan to go through the entire primary process as a Democrat. As soon as they cheat you, which they're gonna, catch them, shine the spotlight on it, and then when they try to use the spoiler argument against you, Nina, or whoever it happens to be, because they will call you a spoiler, say, no, I'm not a spoiler, I'm running on election integrity, you guys started to cheat me, I decided to run for a party that wasn't going to cheat me, so it defeats the spoiler argument, and then when you do run, offer to be VP for Jesse Ventura or run for the Green Party, have Jesse be your VP, you bring in everybody that wanted to vote Democrat for Nina, which she would definitely be the most popular progressive running for president. She might even give Kamala Harris a run for her money, but they're never going to let her win. They're going to cheat her. No matter what happens, it's going to be Biden or Harris or Buttigieg, less likely Harris. They're going to cheat Nina. So expect it, plan for it, leave the party, and then you know what happens? We hit that 15% threshold and you're on the debates as a Green Party candidate. And you know what? After that happens once and you're in all the debates, the Green Party would pull in 15, 20, maybe 25% of the vote. And yeah, sure, the Democrats are going to lose, but who cares? They're not going to they don't do anything anyway. Playing spoiler and not allowing Joe Biden to be in and instead allowing Trump to have a second term is going to turn out exactly the same way. Biden hasn't done anything better than Trump would have done, so it's not really a spoiler thing anyway. We need to run this play one time, just once. If we run it once, the Green Party's on the map. And then they won't ever not get that threshold again. They will be on all the debates for the future elections. And maybe they have a chance at wiping out the Democratic Party for a 12 years from now, and then the Green Party will be the dominant left-wing party in this country. That's what I would do, and I think we should do both. Nina is never going to leave the Democratic Party. That's the problem with this. It has to be somebody else, and I don't know who that would be, maybe Keith Ellison, but I think also he would not play spoiler. You have to have one person run in the Democratic Party who's popular enough, who's willing to drop out, play spoiler, that's why I call it the spoiler initiative, and join some very strong Green candidate. You combine those two and combine their followers, you will get the Greens across the threshold and they'll be on the debate stage forever. But you got to be willing to play that spoiler for one election. And why not this next election? Because I don't give a fuck if it's Trump or Biden or Harris. The outcome is the same. So I wouldn't mind, if I were popular enough in Congress, running spoiler against Harris, let Harris lose. She's probably going to lose to Trump anyway, get the Green Party on the map, get them on the debate stage, and then in 2028, the Green Party's on the stage and they're on all 50 ballots. So we can do both. Kamikaze campaigns through the Democratic Party, where you set your own term limits, and you have a much, much stricter vetting process for the Justice Democrats. Step one, and that really should happen at the exact same time that step two does, which is plan that when one really strong progressive candidate runs through the Democratic Party, that they get cheated, that they drop out and join the Green Party. They'll take millions of people with them. You will probably spoil the Democrats' chances, but to be fair, they don't have very good chances anyway because they suck. They're getting in their own way right now and defeating themselves. They're self-sabotaging. And Kamala Harris goes up against Donald Trump in the next election. It's over. Trump's going to kill her. Are you kidding me? So you're not really playing spoiler. She's going to lose anyway. So let's get the Green Party on the map that way. Nina's probably not going to do this is the one problem with this issue. So it has to be somebody else. It has to be somebody who's willing to take the wrath of the media and have their reputation tarnished by other neolibs who will call you spoiler for the rest of your life. You have to be willing to make that sacrifice to get the Green Party on the map. And then you know what happens? If you do that, and you take that beating, 12 years down the line, the Green Party is going to have destroyed the Democratic Party or weakened it significantly, and then you might have a chance of becoming president. Because if the Green Party is polling at about the same as the Democratic Party, you can always use the spoiler argument on anybody who decides to run Democratic instead of Green, because Greens have the best chance to beat the Republicans, which they do. But you have to be willing to take shit. Couple of elections, but then you'd have the best chance of running third party and actually becoming president, and get us some better chances of having Green Party Senate candidates. You have to be willing to play spoiler. Just once. It won't work any other way. And we should do both of these, guys. So that's my tangible plans. I would love for some of the other lefty YouTubers who have a bigger following than I do run with some of the stuff like this, because I'm getting real sick and tired of everybody going, well, this running within the Democratic Party has a 2% chance, and running green has a 3% chance, so let's run with the thing that's almost as possible as this, and vice versa. It's like neither of those has a good chance of winning, so stop bitching about who's less of a loser and which is the least loser of the plans, and let's run with a couple of things that actually have a chance to work. I'm weird. I'm solutions-oriented that way. So, Kamikaze Campaigns, higher vetting, much tighter vetting process for Justice Democrats, run as many people with good leadership qualities who have been downtrodden by the system and who literally have no intention of going in there and working with anybody, literal Tea Party tactics from the left, and then run a spoiler campaign within the left, within the Democratic Party, where you have a break-off and join the Green Party to get them on the ballots and on the debate stages under the guise of, and this will be true, that the Democratic Party is rigging it against you. Catch them with their hand in the cookie jar, use that as a reason to leave, the spoiler argument is defeated, and you get the Green Party on the map. But what do I know? I'm just some yucko with 400 subs. So take it or leave it, guys. I like to come up with ideas. Until somebody tells me why these things can't work, I'm just going to keep saying them. So keep fighting the good fight. I'll talk to you later.